Here's everything you need to know about the 2025 Euros. Hi, I'm Nandita, and welcome back to the Ready Set Girl show. Has it really been 4 years since Chloe Kelly broke the internet with her iconic celebration and the Lionesses inspired millions of girls to play football? Anyway, 2nd July, the 2025 Euros kick off, and I'm here to give you a crash course on everything you need to know before it starts. Firstly, the tournament kicks off on 2nd July with a match between Iceland and Finland. That's the first of 31 matches. The finals are on the 27th of July, so we get almost a whole month of the best football that Europe has to offer. It is taking place across 8 cities in Switzerland. The tournament consists of 4 groups of 4 teams. Let's break these groups down. Starting off with Group A, we have Switzerland, Finland, Iceland, and Norway. Not a super strong group. The hosts of the tournament are in this group and they are led by legendary manager Pia Sundhage. Pia has coached powerhouses like the United States, Sweden, and Brazil. A former Swedish national player herself, she retired as the team's top scorer. Maybe you are too, but I'm also wondering why has she taken on the challenge to coach Switzerland, a relatively undecorated team, through this tournament? Well, she says she sees it as a once in a lifetime opportunity to take the hosts of this tournament and make them dream about doing something that they've never done before. The hosts have also lost one of their best players, Ramona Bachmann, to a surprise ACL injury. Another notable face on this team is Alicia Lehman. You've definitely seen her on Instagram, and I genuinely have so much respect for her because I have no idea how she plays with a full face of makeup. So cool. Finland haven't been a formidable force in the Euros since like 2005, and the only notable thing that they've done recently is accidentally call up a 51-year-old ex player, Stina Ruskanen, who has the same surname as a current player. Norway is an interesting team to watch. They will be playing in this beautiful pastel purple jersey and are being led by nothing short of royalty. Champions League all time goal scorer and Ballon d'Or winner Ada Hegerberg. Now, one player can't win you a tournament, but this team does have the pedigree and the history to make it far. While they're coming out of a period of disappointment, they've won the title twice and have been in the final enough times. They're favourites to top this group, but let's see how they fare against the other giants in other groups. Iceland, I think, are just happy to be here. They didn't qualify for the 2023 World Cup, and realistically, I don't think that they're going to make it out of this group. They're just looking to improve on past performances. Let's see, maybe they'll surprise us. Group B, a significantly tougher group. We've got Spain, Portugal, Belgium, and Italy. It's no surprise that Spain has their eye on the prize. World Cup winners, half their lineup are Champions League winners. A stacked roster. I'm talking the best players in the world cover each position of their starting 11 and their bench. You have Alexia Putellas and Bonmati on the same team. If we were in school, people would be like, nope, they can't be on the same team. It's unfair. Except we're not in school and they are on the same team. This is the definition of a powerhouse team. I'm going to say, obviously, they make it out of their group, but will probably also make up one half of the final. Portugal have made it to the past 3 major tournaments, but have never actually made it out of the group stage. Unlike a lot of the teams in this tournament, this team has the advantage that their coach has been with them for over a decade, so he really knows these players. But let's see if he can coach them out of this group. Belgium are a strong team, but have only become so recently. They reached the quarterfinals of the 2022 Euros, which was great considering it was only their second ever international tournament. They don't have the history like the other teams do, but they turned heads last tournament, and I think that they could do it again. Italy, another team with a beautiful jersey, they reached the quarterfinals of the last World Cup. So they have the experience of the pressure of being on a big stage. All except one of their players play in the Italian league, Serie A Feminine, which I can't make up my mind whether it's a good thing or not. I think it might be a slight disadvantage not being exposed to the different country styles or different players of different nationality styles, but I think it can maybe make them more cohesive as a team. It's also important to note that the Italian league only became professional a couple years ago. So investment in Italian women's football is not where it should be considering how long they've had a team. So for this team, I think it'll be really, really important for them to make it out of this group so that they can remake a name for themselves in football. On to Group C: Germany, Poland, Denmark, and Sweden. I feel like these groups are only progressively getting harder. Now, Germany, if we remember, didn't make it out of the group stage of the last World Cup, which was a huge upset. I was absolutely shell shocked when that happened. They were finalists in the last Euros and are just known as football giants, so that performance was super unexpected. So, the pressure is on this year to make it, well, definitely further than the group stage in an international tournament. This will also be the team's first tournament without their legendary captain, Alex Popp, who retired last year. All eyes on Germany. I want to see them in the round of 16, and I think we will. Poland, led by a very young 39-year-old manager, Nina Patalon, it will be an interesting summer for Poland. Poland, who has Eva Pajor, who is one of women's football's most expensive players of all time and has won over 20 trophies for Barcelona. She wants to add some more international ones to her cabinet too. Like I said, one player can't make a team win, but I'm kind of invested in this young manager and really do hope to see Nina and Eva make it out of the group stage. Denmark are no strangers to big international tournaments. This team has a much longer history in the sport than most and have stayed pretty consistent and relevant throughout. They have quite a bit of hype going into this tournament. I don't think that they're going to win the tournament, but I do think that they have it in them to give the big sides a run for their money. This is a team that thrives on knockout football, and since it's likely that they'll probably make it out of the group stage, I think that they'll make it deep in this tournament. They've also got Pernille Harder, who is like number 6 top goal scorer of the tournament. It's just cool to see how much history this team has and how they still have so many players who understand how to make it far in European football. Sweden. They took down the greats in the last World Cup. They dethroned the US women's national team and put them in their place. I will never forget that match and still haven't forgiven this team for that penalty. But I guess we'll have to move. Sweden hasn't won a Euro since 1984, and now that the world has seen what a strong team they can be, I think they're hungry for that win. This is another team with a flawless roster. They've got the likes of Fridolina Rolfo, Kosovra Slani, Zecira Musovic, and Stina Blackstenius, who just won a Champions League. But this is one of those teams that is strong and makes it far but falls short at the last minute. Always so close. Also, in the Euros, they have a history of getting knocked out by the eventual champions. The quality of this team is undoubtable. They're making it out of the group, but will they make that last push over the line and make history? Let's see. And lastly, we have Group D, otherwise known as the Group of Death. There is no doubt that this is the toughest group of the tournament. England, Wales, Netherlands, and France. The big question: can England do it again? Expectations will be high for the Lionesses coming into this as the reigning champions, but a lot has changed in 4 years. I do think that their performance has taken a dip. They didn't qualify for last year's Olympics, which was shocking. But more than anything, a number of the key players that helped in that 2022 win are not part of the roster this year. Most notably, Mary Earps, or their very own Wall, won't be in goal because she announced her retirement earlier this year. Actually devastating. Also, Millie Bright is taking time off because of injury, who is also a huge key player. I think Serena Wiegman is up to the challenge, and it's not like the remaining Lionesses aren't heavy hitters. I just hope that the pressure and the changes don't get to them. I want to see them win it again. Wales captain and most capped player Jess Fishlock will play in her first major international tournament at age 38. Wales are in such a tough group and it's their first Euros ever. I think they will struggle to make it out of this group, but I'm interested to see how they do against England. Netherlands. I think they have some unrest in their coaching staff. Their current head coach, Andries Jonker, is set to be replaced just after this tournament. Reports suggest discontentment among players regarding Jonker's player selection, particularly his perceived favoring of older players over younger talent. Now, I don't know how this management will favorably affect this team if they're able to sideline these issues for the tournament. That's the only way I see them working cohesively. Netherlands also has star Viviana Miedema on their side, and she is looking to make her 97 international goals 100. I have no doubt that she will. France are one of the strongest sides to not have a senior international title to their name. No surprise that they will be hungrily looking to change that at this tournament. Here is the shocker though. Captain Wendy Renard and all time top scorer Eugenie Le Sommer have been excluded from the squad. Wendy Renard has been at the heart of the French team for almost 2 decades, so it obviously stunned the world when we didn't see her name on this roster. France boss Laurent Bonadi said after confirming his Euro squad, as Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I want different results for this team, so I've gone with a different selection. I don't know about this change though. Okay, that's all of it. The Euros 2025 is going to be a whirlwind of a summer. My prediction for the final is going to be probably an England Spain repeat, and I really want England to win. You know what I love about women's football though? It's that yes, there are giants, but like we saw in the last World Cup, with the game growing so much globally every day, nations are catching up to those countries that were once seen as untouchable. No one's place is safe and no one's place is certain. The football landscape has become so competitive, and I think for this reason, this tournament is going to be insane, and I cannot wait. Thank you for watching. Tell us what more Euros content you want us to make. See you next time.